Tom Redhorse patiently stalked his prey through the snow-covered forests of northern Idaho. With his favorite hunting bow in hand and striding along on snowshoes, he had no trouble following the deer trail. The timberline ended at a long, open mountainside painted in dazzling white, bordered by snow-tipped evergreens. Above the trees across the plain stood a pastel sky. Lazy clouds drifted past, playing games with the sun. 1 minute the picture glistened, the next brought shadow. Tom paused again to admire the scenery, his heavy mackinaw keeping out the 10-degree bite of the cold mountain air. And then he heard it. The sound of a snowmobile engine. It was not supposed to be here, this restricted area, protection for a caribou herd. Several yards ahead of the black snowmobile, a skier charged downhill, apparently trying to avoid the fast-approaching machine. The skier wore a dark trench coat, and on his left arm a valise case swung freely. When he came within 300 feet of Redhorse, a rifle shot shattered the cold mountain air. The skier fell, sliding a few feet, then laying still, as the snow beneath him turned crimson. The gunman drove up on the snowmobile, jumped off with a rifle in his hand, and dashed toward the fallen man. Fumbling to remove the case, locked to the skier's arm, the rider suddenly heard a voice rising from above the tree line. "Hey there!" Tom yelled. "What the hell are you doing?" The gunman swung his rifle and fired. Tom ducked behind the tree, and then stepped out, letting an arrow fly from his bow. The arrow penetrated the gunman's right shoulder. Holding onto his rifle, he floundered backward toward his machine and raced away up the hill toward the Canadian border. Lane Palmer sat on the front porch of his modern log cabin, admiring the ice-covered lake in front of him. He felt comfortable in his wool mackinaw, thermal boots, and wool Russian hat, a gift from a former KGB agent. Nancy peered out of the window from the warm interior of the cabin toward her husband sitting there smoking his pipe. She grinned. Whatever made him happy, she thought. The silence of the winter air erupted with a rifle shot. Lane instinctively leapt from his chair and reached for his Glock. Nancy jerked open the door beside him.
"Lane, that sounded like a rifle. I thought Tom was going hunting with his bow."
"Yeah, he did. I'll try to call him." When Tom answered his cell phone, Lane asked, "What was the shot?" "It sounded like a sniper rifle." "Flip your video on, Lane. I'll show you." Lane looked at the video coming over the cell phone, seeing a man face down in the snow. "Oh, so that's it. Don't touch him, Tom. I'll be up there in a few minutes."
"Want me to go with you?"
Nancy asked. "No, stay here by the phone." Lane started his wide-track skidoo and sped up the long, sloped, timbered hillside until he broke into open ground created by an old avalanche. There he saw Tom and steered toward him, then shut off his engine. "So what do you think happened here?" Tom explained how he had watched a man on the snowmobile shooting this man now lying dead at their feet in the snow. "When I hollered, the guy took a shot at me. I shot him with an arrow. I don't think I killed him, though. Hit him in the shoulder. He got back on his rig and took off up the hill. I don't suppose I'll ever get my arrow back now, though." Lane studied the body, shot in the back. He saw the bullet entry in line with the heart and checked the pulse just for any sign of possible life. He found none, then reached for the valise. "Well, our killer was clearly after this. It looks like a courier's case. Locked onto his arm, too. The shooter was trying to get it off of him when I yelled. It takes a key or bolt cutters. I'll check his pockets." As Lane went through his search, he did not expect to find the key.